Okay, now we're videotaping. Great. All right. Okay. So, Roman peace, 180 years of peace, prosperity, security, trade, with both good and bad emperors. Even if you had a bad emperor, the system worked. And then, after 180 CE, it goes into decline. The Roman Empire goes into decline. All sorts of reasons, bad emperors, plagues, trade disrupted, silver in the money goes out. They don't have enough silver, so you get inflation. Romans don't go in the army. And you have barbarian mercenaries whose loyalty is not sound, and then finally mercenaries, and then finally barbarian invasions, and it ends the whole thing. Christianity is also a factor. However, chapter 5, section 4, you do not get tested on, nor you do have to read it during this section. That will push that back to the next test cycle. So Christianity is not on it, but chapters 5.1, 5.2, 5.3, and 5.5 are on the test. Not too covered. All right. Okay. Can you tilt it over this way a little bit? This screen's over here. Okay. Let's go. Today. Yes. All right. All right. So this is how Rome expands, as I already talked about. They defeat the Carthaginians, get this chunk of North Africa, no other competitors. Caesar conquers Gaul, all of France. They had Spain already. They move into Greece, and Caesar eventually will finish this area off here and pull in Egypt into the Republic/Empire. Okay. All right, so these are things that happened. Carthage, we already knew about. They defeat Carthage. And this is where all the action happened, but that's in the previous cycle. Let me get through that quickly. So now, with the wealth, it upsets the balances between the patricians and the plebeians. There weren't really that many balances to begin with. They were already in conflict, but this made it worse. Patricians get richer, more farmers are pushed off their land because the Carthaginians trashed the farmland while they were there. They go to Rome, they don't have jobs, they have to compete with the slaves. Eventually, they throw their support to the army. And the army generals decide, hey, I want to be dictator. All right, so we did. Julius Caesar becomes a dictator, 4 years, wants to be dictator for life. The Senate, some of the senators assassinate him because they thought he was becoming a king. And if you're a dictator for life, it kind of looks king-like, doesn't it? Jimmy, turn the chair so you can see everything. All right, next. Okay, so again, these are the problems that brought down the Roman Empire, Republic. The army is loyal to the generals. If the generals want political power, the army will follow them into the political conflict. The plebs, like the army, why? They can join. It's not a citizen army anymore. Any guy can go in the army, get the weapons he needs, get a place in life, get land afterwards, and yes, if the general says do this, I'll do it. Okay, so we did this already. There's Caesar, looking very Caesar-like. And Caesar was, again, popular with the plebs. All sorts of reforms, public works, citizenship, spreading the land around. And the senators were afraid. His popularity, he's going to be dictator, he wants to be king, he can't let that happen. and they plug him full of sword holes. There he is, getting assassinated. Okay, this is a medieval painting, but it shows more Romans killing each other. But Mark Antony rallies the Romans to support him as Caesar's heir. He thought he'd be the only guy, but Octavian shows up, and now we have a new Roman emperor. So, Roman civil wars are here, and the empire starts here, around 2027 BCE. And now we get nearly 500 years of a Roman Empire, all in one class. Wow. All right, here's Caesar with the baby on his leg. No, that's the god Cupid. And Rome is ruled as an empire, but it looks republican. They keep the Senate. They let the Senate do some stuff. The emperor has to go ask the assembly and the Senate to pass the laws, but they pass anything he puts in front of them. He has lots of little jobs, like I'm the consul, I'm the tribune, I'm the head of the Roman religion, I'm the head of the army. So instead of one crown, he has a lot of little crowns. He never calls himself a king. I'm the first citizen, but he's technically really an emperor. And everyone knows it. Thank you, baby, you're on my leg, get off my leg. So this is what changes. So you had 2 consuls in the Republic, now you have an emperor. You have 1 year to be a consul, now you can get there for life, but now, often later, emperors get assassinated by someone else who wants to be emperor, another general, or they get killed in war. Very few die from natural causes. All right, so this is what changes in the empire, although it still looks on paper like you have a republic. Next. All right, you don't need to memorize the names of these emperors, but the important ones, we had 5 good emperors, and that was named by Machiavelli during the Renaissance, but they are Nerva, Trajan, Hadrian, Antonius Pius, and Marcus Aurelius. Marcus Aurelius was cool because he wanted to rule like a philosopher king. He wanted to be like Plato's philosopher king, and he wrote a lot of popular sayings on how to go through life, so you can actually read Marcus Aurelius's advice book if you ever want to. There were some bad emperors. Caligula was nuts. Nero supposedly played his violin while Rome burned. He didn't, but he persecuted Christians and was kind of a nutcase. Domitian was just fanatically paranoid, executed people. He still got assassinated himself. So, good and bad emperors, but empire works well during the Roman peace. Security, armies in control, no bandits, no pirates, trade. People are generally happy. It's a good run. It's a good run. Up to 180 CE. All right, so there it is. We use this for other historical eras. When the Mongol dynasty rules China, everyone is so afraid of them that there's no bandits on the road and trade works really well. So you had a Pax Mongolica, and supposedly after World War II, a Pax Americana, where the Americans are running the West during the Cold War. All right, again, the territory, and then Egypt gets thrown in there. All right, so this is the empire now at its height. The entire Mediterranean is Roman, Black Sea, a big chunk of it. Trade, there's a seaport down here on the Red Sea, and the Romans set up ocean trade with India. So there's an ocean route to the Silk Road and a land route to the Silk Road with the Han Dynasty. Now, Augustus is building roads, a merit-based bureaucracy to rule the empire. Good times. And this is how the Romans built their roads: sand, gravel, paving stones, no mud. You can use it during any weather. And the army often builds stuff. They let the army build things. And there's the Roman road network. Not bad. Not super highways, but they're there. What's this?
Irrigation.
It's a water pipeline called an aqueduct. In the middle of this thing here is a giant square stone water pipeline, totally done by gravity. You can see it there. And this is how Rome supplied water to the cities. Rome had 7 aqueducts. This is a photograph of one in Spain that is still standing. The concrete and stone are still there after 2,000 years. I don't know if there's water in it now, but there's another aqueduct that still works in Rome also, that still supplies water to Rome. So that's how they built it. All right, this is the Roman Forum. So this is all the main buildings, main palace, main everything. This is where all the action happens. Public area. Quite a sight to come see if you visited Rome as a barbarian or any other foreign visitor. And they used concrete. They invented concrete, which is sand, lime, a couple other ingredients, but the cement works. And this is the Pantheon. This is the largest freestanding concrete dome for hundreds and hundreds of years. It might still be the biggest, and you can go there and you can actually, it's a Christian church now, but this was a Roman temple to honor all their gods. You had an all-god place kind of thing. All right, riding circuses. Gladiators will fight, prisoners will die, and you will be distracted from the brutal oppressive regime until Saturday. This is the Colosseum, which is actually called the Vespasian Amphitheater because it's built under Emperor Vespasian. Powerful citizens sat in front. Ordinary citizens, slaves, and women would be in the upper decks. Some seats were free, some were not. But you could see gladiator fights and pageants and fights against animals and animals versus animals and Christians being thrown to the lions. It was lots of fun. And here's a gladiator getting the sign from the Roman emperor, whether to finish off his opponent or... not all these fights ended in death. In fact, only about 20% of them did. But people enjoyed it the same way they enjoyed boxing. Do not write on the desk, please. And worldwide wrestling fun, that sort of stuff. Greek plays are still performed with Roman touches. They still like their Greek drama, like the frogs. What sound does a frog make? Correct. No. This is a chariot race arena. This is a circus. A circus means arena in Rome. And these were big. People gambled on them. If you didn't have a job and get some money, of course you'll gamble instead of having a big payoff. And you gamble on your favorite chariot racer. There it is. How many minutes left?
16.
Great. Okay. All right, thank you.
Yeah.
So again, conclusion, Rome expands from a city to a republic to an empire. Roman Republic has some democracy, but the empire has a Roman peace. So there you go. Okay, let me get this chart up. All right, this is some stuff that goes wrong with the Western Roman Empire. Okay, everyone needs to kind of not copy this down 100%, but get the main points starting now. I've got to run back to my desk and get some things to hand back to you. I'll be right back in 1 minute.
Hey William, you just keep talking. You just keep blocking this camera. Yes, it's on his head. Like because I film from like this angle, and then like it just goes that way, and then oh yeah.
到了整另外一半看到全你的脑袋。
Indeed.
因为他 film 这个为什么？因为
另一个班没有上完。
Oh, that's sad. Lol.
I feel so bad.
Before he gets back，
我觉得没有问题啊，我看了，我觉得蒙上女赛我觉得放得
Hey Darren， 你知道吗？这个在 record，你就把手机这么拿出来。
哦，
Still recording。
大力，
出大事了，
出大事了。
医生不会按暂停。
我不会。 一语道破。Running out of time. How am I supposed to?
说实话，我们
你就来大
不行的话，我们这个不行也可以。
这个要教吗？
不行也可以。我问老师，我到时候问老师吧。
哎，不是，我把那个纸撕下来给你一起教。
你必须要吗？
不是啊，我不给你吧。
你先别撕，我听老师。
他那东西 it's a paper clip.
Oh, yesterday.
It's a paper clip.
先问老师，哎呀，
这怎么暂停啊？
All right, everyone finish it? No. All right, keep working.
没有问嘛，我还没烧啊。肯定你们都做完慌了，没有那个东西划一划水就行。
这玩意儿我都不知道该怎么写了
你。随便写啊。
太简单了。
他问你，
我是一个步骤，还有你。
跟我一样。
Still taking? Okay, so what goes wrong with the empire? Well, the main number one thing is that these barbarians are pushed into Roman territory by the Huns. They get invaded by someone, so they go to the Romans. How can you protect us? Sure, barbarians. Some of you should be in the army. Some of you should be our slaves. Maybe we'll feed you, and some of them revolt against them. All right, values decline. Upper class devoted to luxury. The masses lose self-reliance. But the government has problems. You have more bad emperors, lose support of the people, corruption. The rich aren't paying their taxes. That sounds familiar. And at one point in the middle of all this, there are reforms. Emperor Constantine will move the capital of the empire from Rome to Constantinople. Constantinople is the city of Istanbul in Turkey today. It has 3 sides of the city surrounded by water, double walls. It can't be conquered, at least not until 1453. So now the Eastern Empire is safer, it's richer, but it doesn't give funds or soldiers to help defend the West when the barbarians rule it. And then more taxes, farmers have to abandon the land, poor get poorer, there are plagues, earthquakes, things go wrong. It's like losing the what in the Chinese term.
Mandate.
Yes, they lost the mandate. All right, last 20 minutes. Okay. I know, but it's never happening. Okay. Right when we have 200 years of great Roman Empire, now we talk about how it all goes down the toilet. All in one class, sorry we do this. I teach this to 11th and 12th grade. We get like 3 weeks to do Roman. You guys get it in 1 week. All right, what Roman achievements can you see in this picture? Architecture.
For public baths.
Public baths. Sewers. Temples. Drama, bread and circuses. The fountain is the water supply. People are dressed nice. Looks like there's some money going down. Colosseum. Yeah. Yes.
Do we need turns?
Why do you talk about homework in the middle of a lecture? That's at the end or the beginning of class. Don't interrupt. Thank you. Moving right along. All right, so now we're over here, 200 AD CE. If we had time to talk about Christianity, Christianity is showing up at this point, but we're going to talk about it a little later, after the midterm. So, senators running the republic. Republic expands. More territory, rich get richer, poor get poorer. The republic government doesn't work well anymore, and they get pushed by generals, civil wars, and then finally be an empire. There's Caesar getting stabbed again. God, poor guy. And now Emperor Augustus is running the show. The green star is there. Pax Romana, we just finished. And now decline and conquer. All right, if you look up here at the map, this is when the Huns, or the Shonyu, we heard that. Yeah, thanks Ethan. They pushed these other tribes into Roman territory. The Romans had a really good defensive border on the Rhine River, And then do you see where it says 409 or 406?
406.
406. In 406, a weather condition happened that wrecked the Romans' defense. The Rhine River froze. So now the barbarians can just walk across the river. Hi, we're in Roman territory. What do you guys think about that? That sucks. Can you go away? No. They move en masse. They bring their families, wagons, and they fight the Romans. They start settling, and they just start migrating across Roman territory. Sometimes they just take some farmland. They're neighbors with the Romans. Other times they take over the cities, and it gets worse and worse. Rome will be conquered twice. 410, the Visigoths, and 455, the Vandals. Yes, question?
Why does the Huns migrate?
We don't know. They were also moving around, or they wanted to conquer and stuff. But anyway, they show up. They force the other tribes to
Are they
Gaul.
chased away by the Chinese?
That may be a factor, but that's a good question. I should have an answer to that. Thank you. I appreciate that. Next. So, 3 stages of the Roman Empire going down. First stage, internal problems, politics, economy, military. Then a brief 20 years of reform. Constantine's important. He stops persecution of the Christians. So I'll get back to the Christians later, but I just wanted to mention that. Some of the reforms would help bring about the empire's end. Constantine moves the capital to Constantinople, so the western part of the empire, Rome, will be left without much defense or money or support. And then finally, the Germanic barbarian tribes move in and capture the whole empire. Okay, while I'm doing that, this is an assignment that'll take you through the fall of the Roman Empire. You should answer the questions, but I'm not going to collect it. But it is a whole guide on how the empire falls, so consider it a study aid. We're not going to have too many questions about the fall, mostly about the Republic and Pax Romana, but there'll be a few. 2, 3, 4. 2, 4. Is there an extra over there? An extra? One extra? No? There it is. I found it. All right, cool. All right, back to the lecture.
Focus is on.
Okay, let's look at some of the eternal problems. All right, this is Roman road network, trade network, sea trade. The empire was just too big for one guy to keep track of. It works if you have a good bureaucracy, but it takes 10 days, 2 weeks for messages to get back and forth, and then a response will be 2 months later. It's really a problem. This guy is Joaquin Phoenix playing the Emperor Commodus in the movie Gladiator, so that's an actor. And the Roman emperors after Pax Romana were weak, or they were incompetent, or they just weren't that good, or they just didn't care enough. And this is where society is, it's kind of invisible. When people stop caring about your society and doing a good job and being a good citizen, it'll bring down the country. That's what happened. Roman citizens didn't feel confident anymore. They didn't feel patriotic anymore. They didn't feel loyal to their government. Here are Romans dressed in Roman outfits. These are poor Romans wearing tunics. That's what this is called, a tunic, rhymes with punic. Here's a general. Here are some rich Romans, senator types, and this is a rich Roman lady with a nice hairdo, and that's her husband. So that's how Romans dressed. No pants. All right, so what are the economic problems? So we're getting some barbarians getting over the border, disrupting trade. Pirates come back, bandits. Roads aren't safe. Poor harvests lead to food shortages. Things can go wrong with your wheat crop. Bad weather or some kind of disease can kill off the wheat or the grain. You have bread riots in Rome if they don't get bread. Here's some peasants. They look medieval, but they could be Roman. Okay, they're spending more money than they're getting in. So if you can't trade goods out, you have to pay with silver. If you're paying silver, that's great, you can buy the goods, but once your silver is gone, where are you going to get more silver from? If your silver mines are running out, you know the source of silver, you're going to have to raise taxes, and you're going to have to mint new coins that are mostly copper or bronze, and they don't have silver in it. People are going to go, this coin's not worth anything. That leads to inflation, prices going up. So you still have trade, but now people can't afford the goods, and they don't have silver. More Romans are poorer. Many countries have inflation, hyperinflation. You have a $1 billion banknote. Happened in Germany, happened in Zimbabwe. All right, what's wrong with the military? Well, boom. Germanic tribes start pushing in. The army now lacks good generals, soldiers, and Romans don't want to be soldiers. You have to hire foreign guys to be your soldiers. If you don't pay them, they will revolt. And many of them are Germans, just like the ones who are coming in. Hey, brother, nice to see you, nice to see you. Nice uniform. Oh yeah, you can come in. All right, this is a very shiny Roman outfit. So, poor leadership, and the generals still wanted to seize power, still wanted to be the next emperor, didn't care about keeping their army in shape to fight these guys off. So, it's an internal problem. All right, here are Roman soldiers fighting Roman soldiers, and if you're not invading a new place and getting treasure, if you're fighting your own Roman soldiers, that's not popular. No one likes to fight in a civil war. So mercenaries, the Germanic tribes in Roman uniform with Roman officers, are not loyal to Rome. So that's your military. Ethan, how many minutes left?
2.
All right. I'll run over there and stick in a new chip. Next. All right, these are the multiple causes. Okay, you can take a few notes on that. I'm going to replace my chip over there.
Thank you for your hard work.